Hello and welcome. Thank you for choosing Mitel and Richline IT Solutions. Today, we will talk about basic usage of this Mitel 6920 voice over IP phone. First, we will cover the buttons of the phone and what they do. First, on the side of the screen are line appearances. These are for incoming and outgoing calls. Underneath are soft buttons. These buttons will change depending on what you're doing in a call. On the side of the number pad is a hang up button, a redial or call history button, a hold button, a mute button, and a speakerphone button. To the other side, we have a directory, a call history, voicemail, settings, and your volume key up and down. Beside the screen is a navigational key for navigating the menus. Let's talk about placing a call. You may place a call by putting the phone on speakerphone using the button at the bottom. Notice that it picks up a line at the top, or you may pick up the receiver, which also picks up a line at the top. If you're dialing an internal extension, simply dial the extension. If you're dialing an external number, first you must dial 9 and then the phone number you're trying to reach. Notice that you can hang up the call by hanging up the receiver, or you may hang up here using the hang up button, or you can hit the cancel button. Next, let's talk about how to answer a call. When a call is coming in, the topmost line will ring. Picking up the receiver will pick up the ringing call. Thank you for calling Water Street. Hanging up the receiver will hang up the call. There will be times, of course, where more than one line is ringing at the same time. Note, you have two lines ringing. You may select the line that you would like to answer, or you may simply lift up the receiver and it will pick up the most recent call. Note, it picked up the second line. To get and pick up the call on the first line, you may simply select that first line. It will automatically put the second line on hold and answer the first line. We will come back and cover this more in depth later. Working with and moving between multiple calls on multiple lines. In the previous segment, we discussed how you may have two lines ringing at the same time. Note that when you answer one, the other continues to ring. You can tell that by the flashing light. In order to answer that call, you may simply press that button. Note, the icon on the first call that you were on changes to a hold icon, and you are actually talking to that other call. You do not need to place that call on hold before switching to the other call. The phone system understands it. It understands that you want to place that call on hold, but you need to be aware of that. It's not going to hang up the call that you are on, so this guy is still sitting on hold. If you'd like to move back to that call, simply press that button. Note that you have now picked up line 2 and put line 1 on hold. You can move between calls seamlessly like this. No need to put the other call on hold. If you do need to place both calls on hold, you're talking to line 2, simply press the hold button. Note that line 2 is now placed on hold. Both lines are slow flashing because they're on hold. So now, with both lines flashing, how do you hang up one of those calls? Obviously, the customer could always hang up when you're done speaking to them, or you may press the drop button or the hang up button, and that will hang up that line. You then select the other call, and now you're talking to them. Note the visual indicators change on the screen. These are indicative of what's going on in the call. That call is now on hold. Answer the call, and I can hang it up. One thing that I may have forgotten to mention was that you noticed that I had to pick up that call in order to hang it up. There's no other way to hang up a call that's on hold. You actually have to pick it up, and then you can hang it up. The last thing that we're going to cover in this video is transferring a call. We will go into this in more depth later in another video, but this is the basic way of transferring a phone call. You receive a phone call, you answer the phone call. The person calling would like to speak with, say, the manager. To transfer that call, you hit the transfer button and the extension that you are transferring it to. In this case, I'm transferring it to Sherry, and I will hit the transfer button. Once you do that, you'll note the call is not here on this side anymore. You may simply hang up the phone. The call has been transferred. We'll do that again. Receive the call. Pick up the call. Thank you for calling Water Street. How may I direct your call? Oh yes, let me transfer you to Sherry. Transfer 2002, which is Sherry's extension. Transfer. The call leaves your phone. It is no longer on one of your line appearances. It tells you on the other screen that the call was transferred if you caught that. You are now free to hang up the phone. The call is gone. That is the most basic way of transferring a call. There are other ways of transferring, but we will cover those later. This simply transfers the call from your extension to their extension. If they do not pick up their extension, the call will go to voicemail. The call will not come back to you. This concludes our basic training on this Mitel 6920 voice over IP telephone. We learned how to simply answer the phone using multiple different methods, how to put it on speakerphone versus picking up on the receiver, how to hang up the call, and the fact that you can hang up here, or when you're in a call, there'll be a drop button key underneath the screen. The fact that these buttons will change. These are your line appearances. These buttons will change depending on what you're doing in a call. We also learned how to deal with multiple calls, and that you do not have to place a call on hold to move between calls. By pressing the other line, it simply knows that you want to put the other call on hold. Therefore, if you actually want to drop that call, you must understand and actually hang up that call, or the caller would have to hang up. We also learned how to transfer a call, and the most simple way to transfer a call, in that when you're talking to somebody, you would hit the transfer button that would appear here, put in the person's extension, and hit the transfer button again. This concludes the basic call training for this telephone.